For the record, for anyone worried about my sugar-free situation, last night we made the most delicious sugar-free agave donuts.
Oh. Wow.
2 thumbs up.
They tasted like donuts.
They tasted like donuts, just not as sweet as other donuts. Okay, did it start recording?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, so tonight's shir is sponsored by Sarah Liba Schrager in honor of her grandfather's yurtzeit. Thank you for reminding me to mention it. And they don't know both Hebrew names, either his or his father's. So his name is John Ben, I think it sounds like Bela, but it's a male's name in Hungarian. So,
Blah.
Yeah, I don't know Hungarian.
I don't know either.
I'm not sure. But you should have an incredible Aliyas and Neshama. Also, tonight's shir is partially sponsored by the Deshevskis in honor of their sons. The one that we do at night. Not Shabbat Brachas, not Bris. Shalom Zacher. We got this, guys. We got this. Not just the tech, or just remembering other things. Okay, so I'm not going to do a raise of hands of who actually listened to CD3. Oh, yay! Okay, so we're going to have other people answering questions. Yay! Okay, hopefully the good have, right? Okay, so let's get started. So we have done some incredible, for everyone who's doing Tanya, which again, I'm not going to do a raise of hands, but on their daily chita schedule, isn't it such an incredible approach to now see, like, you know, the greater picture and to be able to, like, focus in on these things? It's really, really powerful. If you need a little boost on maintaining your daily Tanya learning, which I myself do, Rabbi Gordon on Chabad.org, he even has his own app. So I open up his app every single day and I listen to him teaching Chumash, and I listen to him teaching Tanya. And he is incredible. It's top notch. If it's a little long, what I do is I put it at 1.5 speed or 1.2 speed, 1.25 speed. Perfect. So I strongly...
It's like very slow talk.
He's not very slow, but he does teach in California. It's like a drop slower. And I'm used to New York. So it works really well.
That is so cool. I never ever would have thought of that.
Really? I do with all Shirim. It's the best.
I don't think it works on iPhone, that's why.
No, you do. It's on all. It's on the app. Like it's on the... It's on YouTube. It's within the app, yeah.
How do you do it?
I'll show it to you after. It's really, really great. I was going to say that training, the IT class, so that part of the IT class I can do. But anyway, okay, so just to do a quick run through. Chapter 1. Yes, pregnant with twins. We have 2 souls, and which soul is the first one introduced?
Bahamas.
Beautiful, Nefesh Bahamas. Chapter 2. Nefesh Elokis, beautiful. Chapter 3. The anatomy of the soul.
Oh, the 3 garments.
Close. The one right before that.
It's the midos.
Correct. There is the 3 intellectual and 7 emotional, right? So we get 1 neshama, then we get the second neshama, then we say, okay, what is comprised of this neshama? This neshama is made up of 10 spheres, right? Or kaiches. Now, chapter 4. You had it.
Speech and accent.
Yes. What does this neshama wear? Thought, speech, and action. Chapter 5.
What do we eat?
Yes. What does the neshama eat? Which is?
Torah.
Yes, Torah. We're good. Good job, everybody. And chapter 6. We take that entire structure and we go flip.
The animal soul and the godly soul are like the same structure.
Correct. The animal soul and the godly soul. And now we explain what the animal soul, how it's the same structure, just flipped. Right? The desires and the emotions come first, and then we rationalize the fact that it should make sense somehow. Make sense? Okay. Chapter 7 and 8. Macro.
The universe is a macrocosm of our neshama.
Beautiful. The universe is a macrocosm of the neshama, right? You see how we went really deep, and then we explained it, and now we're like, oh, this, you understand it? Now you can understand the entire world. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's Then the second Chassidus, chapter 9.
You don't think that you're crazy for having like that, and like having wanting like earthly things because you know that you have your cranial twins
Yes, and those twins are
fighting.
fighting, right? So chapter 9 is the battle between them. Because now you know you're not crazy because you have two of them, but now chapter 9 says, okay, now what do we do with it? There is a battle and you are the city and there's two opponents, and right? That's the battle. Then chapter 10, we go to, remember in the recipe, this is a very special recipe. It's like overcooked, undercooked, and perfectly cooked, right? So chapter 10 is overcooked. What's overcooked? Tzaddik. Chapter 11 is undercooked. Russia. Chapter 12 through 15, it's the Beinani. And within the chapters of the Beinani, we learn two methods of Mayach Shalat HaLev. What's the first one?
Can you repeat that?
Is that the
Within chapters 12 to 15, which is all about the Beinani, we learn two methods of Mayach Shalat HaLev.
Control yourself?
One
Mm-hmm.
was literally controlling yourself, and then the other one was seeing. It's like applying it on a bigger scale. What was it?
Kind of. One is control yourself, and the other one is to slowly change yourself. Right? Same Mayach Shalat HaLev, but can be used in both approaches. Right? Does the Yom Kippur do tshuva like right now? And then there's the Elul like, okay, I need to work on it step by step, change my mindset, change the way I see this, change the way I feel about it. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, 16 and 17, we learn the long, short way. But do we actually learn the actual long, short way? No, we don't. We learn what the long, short way is, but we don't actually get into all the meditations. Which, for anyone that listened to chapter 3, CD 3, you'll know that that's all the meditations, right? That's where all the meditations come. So here we learn what the long, short way is and why it's better, or why it applies to a longer, short way. Then we learned, 18 to 25 is a short, long way, and every single chapter in there is a small boost of inspiration, right? So, for example, you can have Mesiras Nefesh because that eating that milchig chocolate 5 hours and 56 minutes. Yes, 5 hours and 56 minutes. But even that disconnects you from Hashem. Just the same way as Chas v'Shalom, someone with a gun to their head saying you're not Jewish, eating that chocolate 4 minutes early is just as bad. Does that make sense? So each one of the chapters is a small boost of inspiration that, but at any point in time you're fumbling, you're like, okay, I need to get myself back in track. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's 18 to 25, short, long way. They're boosts of inspiration, but they
don't really change you.
Correct. They don't really change you. Now, what happens with this? Once you finish 25, it's a beautiful, perfect system. What happens chapter 26 through 34? Why do we need those chapters? What makes us so imperfect? What are our biggest struggles?
When we get down on ourselves?
Exactly. Emotional struggles. So now we say, okay, this would be if human beings were perfect beings and they followed every single thing and it was all perfect and beautiful. But the fact is that human beings struggle with, what are the top 3 struggles? Material struggles, health, family, and money. Correct. So being that we basically struggle at least with those 3, if not the myriad of other things such as socials and friends and it's like all these other problems we find ourselves with. So being that we have all these other ones, how much more so we need these chapters to get ourselves back to being the opposite of depressed or sad is happy. Right? Because being happy isn't the be all end all, but being happy is the only way we can do the right thing. It was funny when I made that appointment. My husband was like, "Did you make the appointment?" It was because I was so down. Something had happened and like I was just in a bad mood. He's like, "This is not a good thing." make the appointment, put it in your phone. If it still shows up later, you'll talk to it, right? I mean, I showed up, it didn't show up. But anyway, okay, so 26 to 34 are tools for getting ourselves back into...
Improving your emotions.
Yes, happy place, right? Tools for simcha. Okay, so chapter 26 is dealing with material and spiritual troubles and guilt. So, the person who is dealing with material problems, what do we learn from them? What are the tools that we can have in our back pocket when we're dealing with material problems? When something happens, we get chas v'shalom a ticket, and now we lost all that money.
The thingy, the bicycle versus bond.
Yes, exactly. The bike over the bond. And we have to learn to appreciate that whatever Hashem is giving us must be for the greatest, and
we're getting the bond instead of the bike.
Exactly. We're
We're
crying like a little kid because we're getting a bond, but meanwhile we'll realize that at some point we're going to learn that this bond is going to make us millions of dollars. What?
I said we just don't see the big picture.
Exactly. We don't see the big picture. Okay, so that's one. What's another... what's another way of looking at it? That something that is concealed good comes from a higher place than something that is revealed good. So we have to realize that whatever it is must be coming from a good place, right? Do we ask for struggles? No. When we get them, are we saying thank you Hashem for whatever this is? Okay, we're hoping. We're working on it. That's what we're learning, Tanya.
Personal question.
Yeah, sorry, I should have. Okay, now, what do we learn about guilt versus shame?
They're both bad.
They're both bad. Which is worse?
Shame.
Why?
Because then it's I'm bad.
Correct. It's saying you're inherently bad. Good job, guys. That's exactly it. And if that person feels that they are bad, it doesn't make a difference what motions, what actions they take, because they essentially are bad. So therefore, they're just really dug deep in the schmutz.
They can't change themselves. Yeah.
Yes,
like a
correct.
downward spiral.
Exactly. And it leads to that downward spiral. Exactly. So when dealing with spiritual situations, as much as neither one is good, but what do we do if we feel guilt?
Like, what can I do? Like, grow for, what will I do next time? I can't really know.
Yes, and that we set an appointment for it. And if we show up and they show up, it means we're going to make a plan for next time. Are we going to sit there and dwell on the bad thing we did? No, why not?
Because then we're continuing to make it happen.
Correct. Because now we're using another one of the garments to think about, this terrible thing we did, right? So instead of doing that, what do?
We don't think about it, we just think about the future.
Yes, and we think about who we did
Hashem!
to.
Oh,
exactly.
that whole thing that you said that about real tshuva, how it's like you don't think about yourself, you focus on how amazing the other person is, and
correct.
Thus they deserve better, and
correct.
That propels you to be better to them.
Yes, 100%. So we need to think about Hashem and how amazing they are, and that propels us to do better. Okay. Now, is there ever a good and holy excuse to being sad?
Sad?
No.
Down, depressed? No. Okay, chapter 28. What happens when we are struggling with davening? What does that tell us?
It means you're doing something good.
Yay! Kol hakavod, everybody. It means you're doing a great job. Because if you weren't doing a great job, like for example, when not always, but usually when life hits and it's really busy and the kids come home and it's and I miss mincha, it's usually me when I miss it and I completely forget about it. That's usually when I don't have trouble. It's when I remember about it, I'm like, I just have to do one more thing. I just have to do one more thing. I just have to do one more thing. Then my Yetzer Hara kills me. You know what I mean? If I completely forget about it, because the sun went down, whoops. Right. Then I wasn't even trying, right. So the Yetzer Hara's okay, let her go, bye-bye. As she do. So but true. When I'm struggling, I'm I really want to do the right thing, but my Yetzer Hara, then it's a battle. So the fact that there's a battle, I should be so happy I'm doing the right thing. At least I'm trying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Amazing.
I've totally had that. Not maybe with mincha, but other stuff.
Other things, yes. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, chapter 29. What does the Rebbe clearly say about chapter 29?
We don't always practice this chapter.
Correct. Why not?
Because we just need more good in our life.
Correct.
We're too sensitive.
And what does chapter 29 tell us to do that is a little rough for us?
Meditate.
Chazbul nefesh, no? I mean, no, not exactly.
Not quite.
Like,
It
really
says-
focusing.
Yeah, really focusing on what?
How? That way you're breaking ourselves down.
Correct. It basically says if your avodah, if your connection to Hashem is not feeling alive, it's because you're too arrogant. Not you. No one in this room or no one watching. That person is too arrogant and they're so self-involved and so arrogant that they're losing that sensitivity for anyone else, including Hashem. Right? So being that that's the basis of it.
And we have to break ourselves.
Correct. So the Alter Rebbe says that person that's dealing with such a struggle need to break themselves. They need to realize,
Like, you're nothing.
yeah, like not in a negative way, not like trying to destroy him, but more like you have to realize the halavai beinani. Like you think you're a tzaddik, you think you're jumping in all these like high places. Like realize you should work to be humble and connect to being at least try and be a beinani, right? Mm-hmm. But the words halavai beinani, how are they taken?
Like, that's not even, like, a level that that means that none of us can even get there.
Correct.
So this
And
whole
meanwhile,
thing is
it's
not even-
taken out of context, and the entire book is chucked out the window. Oh, halava beinani, you can't really even reach it. Just read the book because, the Frierdiker Rebbe says you should learn it daily, and that's it, right? But is that true? No, it is not. Okay, 30, humility. It's not about the performance, but rather it's about the effort. Exactly. So the fact that you're trying, just the fact that you're trying, even if you don't always succeed, Hashem appreciates the fact that you tried.
See, that's so cool because, like, I totally used to think that that's, like, a modern day idea. Like, that's what you say to your kids, like, about their grades. That's not about their grade. Like, I grew up with, like, like, is it an A? Like, if it's not an A, doesn't matter what you did. Like, I don't care about your effort. That's, like, the Russian approach. But, like, so I kind of thought it's, like, this, like, more, like, like...
Fluffy American.
Yeah, like, honey, like, it doesn't matter what you got. It's about the effort. And I love that. And that's totally the way I want my kids to feel. And, like, for the most part, that really is what it is. Because everyone's produced looks different. And, like, one person could get... I don't care. I don't like talking about grades because I could not care less about grades. But the point is the same in everything. But I love that, like, no, this isn't some fluffy modern day, like, American. This is really what it is.
Yes. And Hashem. And why is it that makes us humble? Because even if we see someone, even if we see someone who looks like they're just like not from, or they're struggling,
you have no idea
or you have no idea how much they're trying just to do the one thing they're trying.
Right.
And it's very interesting because some people deal with this in their own homes, for example. Like, let's say a cousin or a child, chas v'shalom, or someone in their family was from, or was to a certain extent from, and now they're doing their own kind of thing. And it's just very interesting to have this mindset, because a lot of family members struggle because it could be such a slap in the face that, like, you're trying to give over your values to a child and they turn around and they do the polar opposite. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, if we take a look at this, we can appreciate that even just the amount that they do, even just the amount that they do accomplish, they are so, for them that might be even greater than all the million things that you do. Mm-hmm. Right? Because that, for Hashem, it's like, wow, he's really, or she's really trying so hard, and it really makes such an impact. And it's something I'm living with. I'm thinking about a lot during Hanukkah, because during Hanukkah you really get to see a lot of people that don't necessarily say they're Jewish, don't necessarily live an openly Jewish life, but I'm seeing, like, I'm not very on social media, but, like, it happens to be that I scrolled through something and I saw all these menorahs and all these people wishing each other, like, all these beautiful brachas about adding in light, and it just, like, touched me in here. It's like, whoa, those people that I may not, they don't keep Shabbos and they don't keep this and they don't keep that, but, like, that light shines through, and that is so beautiful to Hashem. So not only can we do it to ourselves, we can also view that for our children, and we can also view that for everyone in the world. And that's why a shliach can go out and really show someone true love and compassion and true like Avas Yisrael, because it's not about what they do or what they don't do. It's about the fact that I don't know how hard it is for them to do what they do. So amazing. They're a precious gem to Hashem. Does that make sense? Which slowly leads us into our next topics, which are 31. What happens when we identify with our nefesh elokis?
We can identify with other Jews like on a soul-to-soul level.
Yes. So 31 is all about saying who's me? Who's I? Am I the one who wants the fancy what was the joke he made? The smell, the new car smell?
Oh
Whatever. Is that like I know.
That's my least favorite.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You just said that and I'm like
Yeah,
suddenly
I hate
like
it.
craving that
Think that's
smell.
all right. So
Yeah, it's gross.
yeah, it's gross.
We're just saying that there'll be that side of the table and this side of the
Take my
table.
whole car.
Take my whole
Give
car.
me an old car with roll down windows.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny.
Roll
So-
down windows, is that what you do?
Serious. The older the car, the better.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so if we connect to our nefesh elokis, our taivas, our desires start to change. What does our nefesh elokis want? And that's what I want. My nefesh elokis wants to learn Tanya. That's what I want. I know it's cold and I know there's other crazy Hanukkah things, but you guys all came here because your nefesh elokis wants to do this. And so therefore you yourselves want to do this. Does that make sense? And if we start looking at ourselves as our nefesh elokis, so then that leads into CD number 3. How does chapter 32 fit in here? Remember you gave a whole long introduction. It's like, oh, leave the heart. Oh, beautiful. Ah. Like, how does it really fit in here? And it's funny because in seminary, I did actually memorize Paraklam and Vase. So when he said
Me
that,
too.
yay! Behine al yedei kiyama devarim haniskar na'el. Like, it literally says it in the beginning of the chapter. And everything we've said so far now makes sense into da-da-da-da. Right? So, like, how can it be that it's a whole separate chapter in of itself when here it's saying everything we've said so far leads us into what we are now? So how does all this mindset lead into Havas Yisrael?
That we're all in the same boat.
Yes. How?
That's one thing.
Yes, how? If I relate to my nefesh elokis, and I start to see you as a nefesh elokis, and I see you as a nefesh elokis, and I see you as a nefesh elokis, and I see you.
That
Da-da-da-da.
really, you're all like the same way that I do for myself. Like, wow, like I'm just like effort counts, and also like that. What I really want is XYZ.
Correct. And so therefore,
So yeah, like I saw someone else being obnoxious to me, but really that's not what they really want to be doing.
no, of course not. And if they're a nefesh elokis and I'm a nefesh elokis, it's like we're in the same family. So the joke he made about the parfait, right? If somebody else takes your dessert,
Right.
you're like really annoyed because that's an
It was for
acher.
his,
It's
it
like
was for his son. And his
yeah,
son.
but if it's for your kid, okay, sometimes I really want. But that's a different story. I was like, no, I'm kidding. But really, honestly, if it's for your kid, it's like, oh, okay, at least one of us got it. Like at least our family got it, right? So do here. Our Avos Yisrael is based on that.
And I was like, I don't know if I could relate to
I know.
that.
It made sense before I had kids. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry, ladies. Getting to know the deep side,
The deeps, yeah.
dark side of being a mommy.
Right? So 140. What's the significance of the first line of chapter 32? V'hine al yedei kiyama devarim haniskarim la'el, telling us that we need to know the previous chapters to be able to do the love of this chapter. Hmm. $141. How does it connect to chapter 31?
So when you identify with your nefesh elokis, you're like, the things that separate us is our guf. So the less you identify with that, the more you're connected to other yidden.
Exactly. So the more you identify with our nefesh elokis, which is in chapter 31, the more you can connect as opposed to separate with just the guf. My guf and your guf are separate gufs, so fine. You're there, I'm here. But if it's my nefesh elokis and your nefesh elokis, we're the same boat. We all want the same things. Oh, the manure. It's like, who's doing chazanas on the street? Okay. 142. What are the two options of who ate the parfait in the chocolate parfait story?
Your child and a random stranger.
Correct. Your child or a random stranger. 143. If the random stranger is eating your parfait, then what is our reaction?
It's like,
Yes.
I did listen to this. I thought I didn't, but I did.
I thought you did. I think you listened to it last week
Yeah, maybe.
because you thought we had finished it.
Yeah.
So, what's your reaction? You're usually pretty upset and you're pretty annoyed about it or at them or the
And you then
chutzpah.
proceed to take someone else's. No, I'm just kidding. If your parfait is missing at the wedding, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'll keep in my eye.
144. If your child, on the other hand, ate your parfait, then what is your reaction?
Happy that
Grab it away.
Understanding.
You have
Grab
to
it
share.
back.
I'm gonna teach you the lessons of chinuch of sharing. One for me,
Share with
one
mom.
for you.
You're happy.
Kidding.
Give it back to me.
You're like your team won. or something.
Exactly. You're actually happy because you
Yes.
feel at least one of us got it. One of us is eating it. One of us. $145. What's the lesson we can learn from the difference in our reactions?
That if we see all Yidden as, like if we don't, like we said before, if we identify with our Nefesh then we're always seeing everything that way. We're all connected.
Then
That we're all like, the same way it's like, oh, it's my kid. But like,
Right.
oh, it's my brother.
Yep.
My sister.
My sister. Yep, exactly. So if someone else takes our stuff, we feel deprived. But if it's one of us that takes our stuff, we feel like, okay, we all gained. So if we all identify with our nefesh elokis, and we see the nefesh elokis in someone else, so it's
But
we're
how
all
would that
part of the
apply
same
to
family.
like other stuff? Meaning it's easy to, for like an example of literally someone physically taking an item from you, but how does that play out if it's not that? If it's not a physical.
Like another example. Another
Yeah.
one. I
Like
think-
what?
Could I try?
Yeah, go for it.
Maybe like, I don't know, if you're a husband, someone else's husband, your husband and someone else's husband worked on a project together, but then the other person's husband gets all the praise or something, and then
Okay.
you know what I mean,
Okay.
and you're like, wait, what about
Like for a
my,
straight
you know what I
you
mean? Yeah.
But like we're like it should be equal. Like just if we're on an neshama level, then like.
Or maybe they both get things, but you feel like the other person got a little bit more thanks or
Just seeing
notification or something, you know?
seeing other people doing better than you or looking better than you or
Yeah.
So how do we apply the identifying as a nefesh elokis?
Well, like then would it be then like I'm happy for them because they are my sister? Like I'm happy
That's
for my
one
sister?
option. Yeah. Okay, that's one option.
If you
What would be
That's
another?
what I'm asking. Like
I'm thinking about your example of when you were briefly on social media and you were scrolling through and you saw the beauty of Hanukkah and everybody's menorahs. There are people that scroll through social media and they're just seeing all the things that they don't have, and they're seeing all the things that are lacking in their life and the things that other people do have.
Right.
So it's also, deciding to say I'm happy for this person, or I can see they're winning too, they're doing well, instead of seeing how it's against you,
Yes.
like a personal affront to you.
So yes, exactly.
Well, like,
So it's a
I just feel like in that moment, like when it is, like, I don't know, like, let's say you really wanted to buy a house and someone else bought a house. Like, I don't know if in that moment it would be like, so, like, if it would really work to make yourself feel better, to be like, we're all one, like, we're all one Shaman, like, just like, I don't know, like what do you even say to yourself? Like, I just don't see that
okay. Beautiful.
working
So
so well.
that's fine. That makes sense, 100%. And one of the reasons why we learn Tanya, not necessarily in the moment, we have
Yeah.
to learn it on a constant basis. So
Well,
we're
I'm
getting
not
these-
dealing with the struggle. I'm
Baruch
just,
Hashem. No, what I'm saying, because it is hard in the moment. That's what I'm saying. Every example that would be hard, it is hard in the moment.
but like, what would you really say to yourself? Like, that's what I'm asking. How does it apply to in other?
Right. So in other
Do
situations,
you say I'm happy for them because we're all one? Like, what do you say to yourself? What's the line?
right. So that's a start. That is a level to it. Another level to it is, if my Nefesh Elokis were speaking now, would that person's or that my friend's husband getting the most credit, would somebody's new house and someone's negative stuff on social media, would that be a top priority for a Nefesh Elokis?
No.
See what I mean? So if we practice 31 more often, saying, okay, if I'm identifying as my Nefesh Elokis, what does my Nefesh Elokis care about now? Does it care about prestige? Does it care about money? Does it care about, right? So if that's good in the hood, okay. If that's the priority, the Nefesh Elokis's priority is the priority. So then those things don't bother us as much, because it's not my loss, your gain against my loss. It's more like, wow, Baruch Hashem, like someone.
Like, that's not what really matters.
Correct.
It's also like, it's not like them getting a house means you're not getting a house.
That's
It's not
that's
like you
really.
can get a house at the exact same time in the exact same moment.
Well, it's
So
not
it's
even
like,
that.
yeah.
It's just like the idea that like someone got engaged. Like, well, they didn't take my husband.
Correct.
Like,
exactly.
Someone had a child, or someone got a house or a job. Like, that was meant for them. Like,
Exactly.
they didn't take mine. That wouldn't have been mine.
Yeah, correct.
They wouldn't have gotten it. It wouldn't mean I couldn't. We could both be having it.
Right here, right
Like-
now. Yes, 100%. 100%.
That's another, I guess, manifestation. But that's just like a what to say to yourself to make yourself feel better. That's not really connected to this idea per se. But
It
just
could. It could.
But I
That
guess
is
more
true,
focusing on.
but-
I guess more like what you're saying. Like, what does my Nefesh Elokis care about?
Yeah, and that's when it comes down
Not
to it.
that.
Like, it's not really that. Most things we get annoyed about, it's not necessarily a Nefesh Elokis thing.
It's definitely
Right.
not.
I know, I was being generous.
Nefesh Elokis don't get annoyed
No.
unless we miss mincha, and then they're like,
And
"Come
then-
on, dude."
Right, but that's what happens. That's what happens if we realize we put that perspective of Nefesh Elokis.
But what if it's like, I don't want to be? I mean, I want to, but
Identify with the Nefesh Elokis. Well, that's then we go a few chapters back and we
Restart.
but really it's all in here. But you see how it's all in here?
You go back and visit
All of our
forever.
life troubles, like from shidduchim to like marriage to house buying to prestige to all of it, it's all here. It's all in Tanya. Any personal and global struggle is solved in Tanya. We just have to find the answer. Does that make sense? Okay. Ooh, great. Okay, let's keep going. Where are we?
46.
Oh, yes. Okay. 146. Chapter 31 was about identifying with yourself, the Nefesh Elokis. Huh? Oh, yes. Sorry. How do we apply this concept in regards to Avos Yisrael outward?
No, I remember saying.
Yeah, we just answered it. I don't know if you're gonna have like a written answer per se, because it was more of a for bringing. Okay. What I have here, what I wrote here, is that it's if we identify as ourselves as a nefesh kiss, then we're able to see others as a nefesh kiss, and we're one and the same. But I think we took it to an even deeper level just now. Okay, 147, which is starting 33 and chapters 33 and 34, is tools for Simcha continued, right? Because we took a tiny break about Avos Yisrael, but then we back into Simcha.
Also, I don't know if we did touch upon this, but just like another dimension for question 146. Whoa.
Mouthful right there.
Like, that's the idea of like having Rahmanas also. Like, I remember when I was a kid, like if someone bullied me, my mom would always tell me the same thing. She'd be like, I don't know if it was good advice or not, but like it just stayed in my head. It was frustrating that whatever, it's not turning into a therapy session. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because she would tell me like to focus on like feeling bad for the person, like that they're like, they like have like troubles inside that they're acting like this towards me. I'm just applying it to here, like that if we see ourselves all as like a nefesh lakis, and like you see someone else being mean or doing the wrong thing, whatever, and like having a struggle, instead of judging them for it, you could just like identify on a nefesh lakis level, like the same way my nefesh lakis is like wants me to do the right thing, like they're also like they're just struggling. Like what I'm seeing is I'm seeing on the outside their struggle, but on the like
That's really beautiful.
it obviously it's hard if it's directed at you, but if you could come to that place of like that's not who they really are. Inside is like nefesh lakis, like just like wanting to be good, but like they're having this massive struggle, and it happens to be divinely ordained that it's directed at me, but just kind of like more like bring out the Rahmanas, because like
Wow, that's really beautiful. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, 147. Why is 33 and 34 a continuation of 26 through 31, the joy chapters, and not the beginning of 35 through 37, which is Mashiach?
why?
He kind of told a story, which I guess it could have been missed. That's what I'm gonna answer
Or
for
I
you.
could have, I just can't remember.
About how when there was the English version was being printed, they took it to Rabbi Khan, who's a Baki in Chassidus, and Rabbi Khan reviewed it and he restructured the map. And he said that as much as it seems like it's headed in the other direction, it really is finishing off the Simcha chapters. Okay? Because we're going to enter into the whole, like, Mashiach and what's the point of our existence and all that good stuff. But the reality is that this is the segue ending the Simcha section. Okay, we'll skip that question for now. Our job is to rejoice in our divine purpose, 33, and appreciate fixed times for study, 34. Is that written in your thing? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, 35 to 37. Action. This is really fun. 148. Now that we have our emotional tools to stay healthy and happy, in order to do 1 through 25, what are the issues that may arise in the mind of a Beinoni at this point in the Tanya?
Are we done?
Yes! It's like, are we done yet? Is this worth it? It's like he's working so hard. She's working so hard. We are working so hard. And it's like, is this all worth it? Okay. 149. What is the point of this world which a tzaddik... Huh? What is the point in this world which a tzaddik does? I don't know what I mean by that question.
The purpose?
I guess that's what... Yes. The purpose is a better word to put there. What is the purpose of this world which a tzaddik does? Like what?
Accomplishes.
Yeah. What are the... Yes, thank you. We should just reword the entire question.
Spitting out.
Yes, let's just keep going. What is the purpose of this world which a tzaddik accomplishes? Come on, Lubavitchers. What does the Rebbe always talk about?
Doing mitzvahs.
Yes.
Serving Hashem.
Why are we doing mitzvahs?
Being
Vessel, conduit.
Yes.
we're all saying things that are true, but not
Not
the answer.
the answer. It's dira. B'tachtainim, right? So we're doing all these beautiful mitzvahs. Why are we doing these beautiful mitzvahs? It's coming up. Yud Shvat. Basi Lagani. We have a bit over a month. Yay! Basi Lagani. Why do we do mitzvahs in this world? Cricket.
To create a dwelling for Hashem.
Yes! To create a dwelling place for Hashem. Because Hashem created this world, and then through all the different sins, he was escorted out, sadly. And then our job now is to bring him back level by level by level by level by level by level. Dira b'tachtainim. $150. Okay, this is I wouldn't say tricky, but you have to think. Okay, what does the Beinani represent? The behavioral service or the emotional service towards God?
Behavioral.
Behavioral, exactly. Why? It's not part of the question, but I just want to know.
Well, because at the end of the day, that's the whole thing. Like, you haven't yet. You're behaving the right way. You're doing everything completely right. Ashavadi Ramaisa.
Correct.
But
your emotions haven't all kicked in quite yet.
Right.
Correct. That's exactly it. What does the tzaddik represent? Emotional perfection. Why? Because he doesn't have a struggle. His emotions are all perfectly in line. He has 2 nefesh elokis. Another grammatically questionable question. 152. How does a tzaddik bring Mashiach, comma, as well as, comma, do what he can to become one with Hashem?
The tzaddik also has to do behavioral, like the tzaddik also has to do mitzvahs in the same way that we do.
Yes. So, yes, exactly. Actions. The tzaddik also has to do those actions. He also has to do the mitzvahs exactly the same way that we do. That's exactly it. Question number 3 was a grammatical situation. 153. How do we as Beinanim? Aww. The whole group. See, I said we as Beinanim, huh? All of us. How do we as Beinanim bring Mashiach, or need to bring Mashiach, comma, as well as, comma, what do we do to become one with Hashem?
Mitzvahs?
Yes, action. The same action, mitzvahs. The same stuff the tzaddik does is the same stuff we do. Action, action, action. Right? So we're doing the same stuffs. 154. What is the similarity we have with a tzaddik that the Alter Rebbe tells us is a reason for all the Tanya above? I really need to work on these questions. I thought I edited them. We have with a tzaddik that the Alter Rebbe tells us is the reason for all the Tanya above. Okay. We both, I'll just answer for you because the question is, what are the similarities? It's the same thing.
What do we have in common with the tzaddik?
Yeah, answer for 152 is action. Answer for 153 is action. Answer for 154 is we both have action. Yes. We both connect to Hashem through action. We do the exact same thing. Tzaddik lights menorah. All of us, Beinanim in this room, light menorah. Tzaddik eats kosher. All of us, Beinanim in this room, eat kosher. Right? Same stuffs. And that connects us to Hashem. That helps us bring Mashiach. Okay? If so, 155. What's the significance of the story of the coffee and the teenage daughter?
What was the story? Jog my memory.
Does anyone know the story?
It was where the daughter, even though she doesn't like coffee, she's not interested in it, she'll still go to the store, get the beans, grind the beans, make the coffee. For her father, she doesn't necessarily understand it, but she'll do it for him.
Correct. As opposed to his wife. And what did his wife do?
His wife understands it and will, lovingly give him.
Well, she sat
she
and she
talks
reminisced
about it,
about
right.
their date or their vacation in Paris where they had the most delicious coffee.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the action is what counts.
Right.
So it's nice that we can sit and connect and reminisce and but like
Myself.
right, so yeah, exactly. That's what we have
Where's
to
the
do.
coffee at?
Yeah. The giving, the action of the coffee is a lot more meaningful than the reminiscing of the coffee. Okay, guys, after this, remind me the whole 33, 35, 30. I just have to really work on that grammar stuff. Okay, 156. How do we welcome Hashem home in this world? What does that even mean?
Wait.
No? Okay, how do we welcome Hashem in this world? How do we bring Hashem into this world? How do I bring Hashem into this water? Yes. By doing mitzvahs, making a bracha, eating kosher, making doing good things. Kiddush Hashem, that's the word I was looking for. Making a Kiddush Hashem in the subway, at your workplace, everywhere. That's how you bring Hashem into this world, right? So if the doing, if the action, if the mitzvahs, is what brings Hashem into this world, we have to just keep him in mind, right? We're bringing him into this world. We're doing all these actions, and sometimes we may forget that it's for him. Mm-hmm. So, yes, what's more important, thinking about the coffee in Paris or actually bringing the coffee? Bringing the coffee. Bring the coffee, right? But this is going to lead us into, but now the timer is finished, but intent is also important. Thinking about Hashem. Okay? 35 through 37 is all about... Switch. Flip that upside down. 35 to 37 is about action. That's the one we just discussed.
What? That's not what it says here.
35 through... Oh, no, that was a typo.
Is this 38 to 41?
That's 38 to 40. Yes, my apologies. Correct. 38 to 40.
You're asking what we just discussed.
Correct.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
all about action.
Yes, exactly. So if 35 to 37 is all about action, what's missing?
Our intention.
Our intention. And that we will get to next week, Mitzvah Hashem. And with Hashem's help, next week will be our Siyum. We'll be finishing this program, except for I'm still waiting to hear back from Rabbi Taub about which night he can bring for us. So that is coming. It's Hashem. Thank you very, very much. And thank you again to Sarah Liba and her grandfather's Neshama Shav. A great Aliyah's Neshama. And do you mind helping with this? I don't know what it is. Yes, please.